In today's video, we're going to be talking about a really common amateur move which I see on the lesson bay, which most pros don't do, and discussing what this might influence in your golf swing and what this might fix in your golf swing. So, without further ado, let's get stuck in. Now, the main essence of what that move is the way this head moves towards a target in the downswing and how destructive this actually is, and a move that you don't really see many, if any, pros kind of make in transition. So what a lot of people do when it comes to finding some kind of power in the golf swing or some kind of rotational idea, you'll often combine that kind of misconception with this move of the head going past this kind of target line, and that can cause all sorts of inconsistencies. You can often find people get too ahead of the golf ball, and that can result in a bit of a scoop, a bit of a flip in order to find it because I'm too far ahead. By the same measure, if I'm moving towards the golf ball with my head and in turn the upper body, that can influence the upper body to over-rotate. It can destroy our sequence, so we come a little bit too over the top, see some pull slices, and it's just a general lack of power. A really good analogy I like to use when it comes to sequencing and power, if I gave you a stone and asked you to skip it as hard as you could, what would you do? You'd go kind of hips, body, arms, hands. You wouldn't kind of lunge at it and throw it into the ground because you take away power and you take away the movement which you're looking to deploy. And the golf swing is kind of no different, and that is what we're going to discuss today. Now, before we talk downswing, let's make sure our setup and in turn our backswing is in the right place to promote that downswing, and oftentimes can actually fix it as well as our concept. So when we get set up, there's two main things we're looking for. So if we get set up in our normal golf posture and just hold the golf club across our sternum with the button of the golf club facing down towards the floor, we want to now tilt our body away from target to a position where the button of the golf club is facing towards my lead heel. This will create an element of right side bend, and it will also allow my trail arm to sit much softer into my kind of rib cage / belly button. So the reason this is important, and especially for you guys who are kind of the over toppers of the world, get quite steep and quite over as well, is this more what I would label as a draw bias type setup with a spine angle will really allow this golf club to shallow much more easily, and this is a really important component in the swing, because if I'm quite upright or tilted towards target and I just sway towards or slide towards the golf ball as well, that golf club's going nowhere but steep and but over the top. So if I'm kind of here and I add in that right side bend, you can see how that slots that golf club back into place quite naturally, so really important. By same measure, I'll often see this with lessons who spend quite a lot of time sitting down at an office in particular. This right arm can sit quite externally rotated on top, and what that will often promote is this arm to now pull inside on the backswing. And because it gets quite behind and get quite stuck, it's going to create an element of throw coming into the golf ball. So if you're going to couple that with an upright, tilted towards target posture and a bit of a slide, that is a big remedy for big over the top, and can also throw in a lot of shanks in there as well, because the golf is being thrown away from our centre line. So that ability to right side bend in the correct manner, that's going to allow this right arm to sit much softer into the rib cage / belly, is a really good setup for me to promote what we're going to look at in the downswing shortly. So now that we've got our setup, a really easy way to go about doing this when it comes to hitting the golf ball, and I'll start kind of small when doing so and build this up, is just to kind of change where your eye is focusing. So where we like our eye to focus is to be looking straight behind the golf ball, and if we can keep our intention, our eye line on the back of that golf ball, that's really going to keep that head in a nice quiet position, not sliding with my eye line ahead of the golf ball so I can't see the back, and give us that kind of feeling of staying behind the line and everything working in the right way. Now, certain things that you might feel, and it's important for you to kind of be aware of, so you've got a feeling to attach to, is this is going to promote a couple of things. So in line with that kind of skipping the stone analogy we spoke about shortly, this is really going to promote really good sequencing and separation from lower to upper half. So what I mean by that is you're really going to notice how the left hip or the lead hip is going to fire first. As it unwinds, the arms will kind of drop and the body's just going to come through with it as well. So you're really going to see those kind of hips, body, arms, hands type sequencing coming into the golf ball, because the head isn't overriding and making the upper body want to go too early from there. So that's something that you're really going to feel. Also as a byproduct of that, and what we said relating more back to the trail arm and in turn here the trail wrist as well, is as I've got this element of more right side bend versus left when we kind of slide, you're going to really see a position of the right elbow being a little bit more flexed, not kind of held in, but a little bit more flexed now, but especially this right wrist angle here. Your ability, because the spine's in a better place, because the right arm is folding and setting much better as well, your ability to hold this wrist angle now as you come into delivery is really important when it comes to compression coming into golf ball. That sensation of the arms firing through as kind of a catapult, whilst the wrists are kind of held, to maintain a stable club face, to create nice compression and shaffling onto the golf ball as that head is staying behind and the lower half is moving. So to summarise all that, a nice kind of user-friendly type idea. Get yourself set up, butt end of the golf club running down through the sternum. Tilt, so the butt end of the golf club is facing towards your lead heel. And notice how this right arm will sit much softer into the rib cage. From there, start small. Make a backswing and just keep your eye line on the back of that golf ball. That's going to allow the head to stay still as the lower body unwinds. That will allow the right wrist angle to be held and just come through from there. Don't want you to think about any of that too much. What I would like to think about is definitely those setup ideas in the sternum and the trail arm, and keeping the eye on the back of the ball. Seeing what that kind of feels like, because you can then take that feel to the golf course to make it more usable in your game. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop me a comment in the comment section down below, or drop me a follow on my socials. For any online or in-person coaching, drop me a follow on the SKILLEST app and message me on there. But until next time, catch you on the